Hello, I'm Kay Smith from UAB Lister Hill Library of the Health Sciences and Health InfoNet of Alabama. I'm going to give you some guidelines on responding to questions about health issues from library users. Helping people find information on personal health issues can be tricky sometimes. However, if you keep in mind these basic tips and learn as much as you can about available resources, you should be fine. Number 1, effective communication is vital. Patrons may come to you with little experience in searching for information themselves and may have unrealistic expectations or incorrect background information. For instance, they may ask for everything on diabetes, or they may think their physician said they had cystic fibrosis when the diagnosis was actually fibrocystic breast disease. Some questions to ask that may help clarify their needs include: is there anything in particular you'd like to know about diabetes, such as prevention or treatment? Do you know the spelling of the condition? How sure are you that's what the doctor said? Some of the information available may be fairly high level, written for doctors. Is that okay? Or do you prefer consumer level information? Don't forget to smile and be sympathetic. Your demeanor makes a big difference in these kinds of reference encounters. Next, remember the ethical boundaries of our role in providing this information. We cannot provide any medical advice, diagnosis, or interpretation of the health information we provide patrons. This may be more difficult than it would seem initially, since we all want to be helpful, especially to people who are truly anxious or distressed about a health matter. It may even be difficult to recognize the danger zones for some questions. In general, if a question begins with "should I," as in, should I have this surgery, or should I take half this prescribed dose of this drug if it upsets my stomach, that's a red flag. Don't be afraid to let patrons know that you're simply not qualified to answer such questions and refer them back to their healthcare providers. Another ethical note to keep in mind is that of respecting the confidentiality and privacy of the patron in addressing his or her health information needs. Do not discuss his situation with colleagues unless you first ask his or her permission. This should only be necessary in those cases where you need help from colleagues in responding to the question. This is important to ensure the trust of the patron. Finally, let's talk about telephone health reference questions. I recommend that only the basic facts, such as a brief definition or directory information, be provided over the phone. For one thing, you probably won't have time for an extended discourse on a health topic over the phone. For another thing, other types of information requests, especially those involving prognosis information, can be quite complicated. There's a real danger in giving incomplete information over the phone in those cases. Here at UAB Lister Hill Library, we have put these restrictions on telephone reference into our Consumer Health Information Service policy to help with problematic phone encounters. Email or instant message questions can run into similar problems sometimes, although it is somewhat easier to point users to more complete online resources in those cases. Just stick to your guns and remind patrons that there's only so much information you can provide them in a telephone call. Remember, too, that if the patron really doesn't want to come into the library, you can refer them to either UAB Lister Hill Library or to the University of South Alabama Biomedical Library for follow-up as part of the Health InfoNet Cooperative Service. While we won't send prognosis information, we will mail or fax information packets to the patron's home or local library on a limited basis. I hope this helps guide your reference interviews and health information transactions. Remember, these tips are repeated in the companion handout included with this module. Also, be sure to view the other videos in this module, which will provide examples of common health reference questions and situations which librarians may encounter. Note that the online resources referred to in those videos will have the URLs provided in the associated transcripts. Speaking of online resources, you might also want to take a look at this link for health reference interview resources on the National Network of Libraries of Medicine's Health InfoQuest page. Go to nnlm.gov/archive/healthinfoquest/help/interviews.html. Have a great day!